Thank you. And we have John Lauren followed by David Ellis.
So last time I was here, I talked about the raid. I want to go back on that a little bit. When Sheri talked to me 2 weeks before we were raided, it was because she wanted to go to rehab. She had become addicted to drugs, and I had to oppose that because we had I had set up a growing operation, a marijuana grow op, that she was in charge of. She managed it. It involved our family and a neighbor. So I couldn't have her locked up. She was in charge of that. There was nothing I could do about that. During that time, Funches had left a voicemail. It was kind of threatening on her phone. I told Sheri not to erase it, to keep it. He'd come over with a gun and drugs and threatened to throw bricks to our car window, all kinds of stuff. And in the course of all this police operation he was working with the cops on. I looked him up on notice. At that time, he had a long prison record. I realized he was more of a predator than anything else. I wanted to know where he lived. I wanted to confront him. Sheri was afraid because he had a gun. I just don't understand why the cops let him have a gun and drugs while he was on awaiting trial for the same thing. It just blows my mind. Anyways, when the cops raided my house, Sheri was backing out of the driveway. I was on the front porch. I watched one cop jump through the passenger window and hit her in the head with his gun, yelling at her to pull out put it in park and pull out the keys. Another cop at the driver window yelling at her to keep her hands on the steering wheel. It was interesting. When I was handcuffed and stood back up, I told the cops I thought they was at the wrong house. They didn't think they were. They wanted to know where the cameras were. They don't wear cameras themselves. They don't want to videotape what they're about to do, which is, a lot of it is violate my civil rights. They wanted to know how much drug money I used to fix the house up. No, that was all on my own hands. In fact, when I got arrested and fingerprinted, first time I went to court, I had to go back to the jail to get re-fingerprinted. And as the cop said, that I've got workers' hands, and my fingerprints are hard to pick up because I work so much. I guess that's what I was guilty of, working too much. The cops did steal $200 out of the couple thousand that was in my safe. They used a battering ram to get my garage door, even though I offered my keys. After 12 hits, they decided to use my keys. I told them that I'd reinforced the doors, and they weren't going to get through that door. And the next 4 after that were worse. And next week we talk about zanies.
Thank you. Next and finally is David Ellis.